So, hi, Mr. Victor. Welcome once again. So, I was able to add the filter and do some box shadow for this card that we have here. So, I'm quickly going to take you through how the filter was added. So, what I did was I came straight to Google and I searched for CSS background image filter. So CSS background image filter, and this first link I have here, which is csstricks.com, so on and so forth. There are so many other ones. You can go down and check for those ones, but I prefer using the CSS Tricks website to get that filter. So you can go through this website when you have a free time and then just work with something. So what I copied from here was this guy. This is the filter I'm looking for. So linear gradient to bottom, RGB, RGB. So I copied that and I came to my CSS folder where I have my background image. So it was like this originally without this guy. This is what it looks like. So I just quickly added that to this point and then change a few things. So instead of to bottom, because of the design that I have here that I'm replicating, this is not to bottom, this is to this position. So I'm going to quickly say to right because that's to right. Then I'm going to reduce the opacity for this by just clicking on this and bringing it down. I'm going to increase opacity for this, coming here and taking it up to either 1 or remove that entirely. So that is 1. Then I might want to change the color to suit the color that we have there. Let's say this. Then when I save, I go back. So this is what I have. I think this color is too much. Let me quickly drop. Let me also do that for this and see. So instead of that, let me just copy these numbers here. Copy those numbers and place them right here. So I hope this should work. This should fix it. Oh, that didn't work. So let me just quickly Control Z it, change this to 1. And when I save, so I have something like this. I think I'm satisfied with this. Then the next thing I would want to do is I'm going to check for what I can put in this card for now. I'm going to skip that and just come to this point where we have entire city of choice. So to do that, I come to my HTML. This time around, I'm going to leave the header section. Now I'm going to create a new section called main. So not that it is really necessary to call it main, but I just want to call it mail. Now in this mail, I'm going to call this part a section. So that instead of using just div, I'm going to call it a section. So I'm going to use a section tag. Not that this is conventional, but I'm just using it. So I'll say H1 and entire city of choice. That's what I want to put in the H1. Entire city of choice. Choice. So the city, small letter C. Then let's save and go back to our estate app. So we have entire city of choice right here. The next thing we want to do is we want to add up the other features that we have in the entire city of choice. So we have card 1, card 2, and card 3. We have about 3 cards to work with. So let's start by creating the first card. So those cards will be in form of divs. So div 1, and it has image, right? So the image can either be a background image or however we want to add it. But in this case, we are not going to use background image because we want it to be possible for the developer to sort of, and for an admin to be able to add image from the database or from admin panel. If we're using background image, it's going to be difficult for them to manage that file or that process. So we're going to add our image tag here. We're going to say img, that's the image tag. And for this source, I'm going to come to the internet, come back to Unsplash and look for an image. Let me look at this image. So this is like an hotel. So come to there here and search for hotel. Searching for hotels. So when I see the one I like, for example, I think I like this, I just right click on it and copy image link. Then I take it to this source and I paste it here. And where I have this alt, I'm going to say hotel. So let's save and see the result for this. So we have this building here. Though this looks too big, we're going to work on that. Meanwhile, let's do for the other ones. What else do we have there? So we have that, and then we have something like price, booking ID, and what else is that? So we have price, booking ID, and I think that's like the location. That's the location. So let's quickly add that. So let's say for what's the next one? For price, I'm going to say H1 or H3, and I'm going to put what's the price? 600. So let's say dollar 600.00 as the price. Then the next one is booking ID. I'm also going to use H3 for this and say booking ID. So I'm going to put the number that they have 9837 9837 9837 432 432. So let me quickly copy this card because it's supposed to be 3 times. Control C and paste it here. That's one. That's second. And paste it here the third time. So the next thing I want to do is to change the images. I want to change the images. So I want to change the images. Let's see what's the image for the next one. The next one is, so these are all hotels. Still going to look for another hotel. I think I should, let me go with so I'm looking for hotels. Let me go with this one. I click copy image link, take it over to here and paste that, and remove this one as well, change it, and then let me look for another one. Let me take this, copy image link and paste it right there. So let's save and see our website. So this is what it looks like. The images are kind of like piling on each other. Now, one thing we need to do is we need to first of all put all of these from this point down to this. So all of the cards, we need to put them in a div so that we can easily tell the div to display flex. So put them in a div and we can say dot, let's give it a class name and say, so this is not hero, say card, let's just call it card. And then when we come to our HTML, before then we need to talk to the main. So come to CSS and say main. So say the main is an element, so we're going to select it like this. We give it a width of 100%. 100%. So that's for the main. This is not really needed. Let's just get rid of it. Let's go straight to the point. We're going to give this section a class name of, let's say, first section. So I'm going to call it first section. Copy this and come to this point and say dot first section. Going to do this. So what do we want to do to the first section? This is the first section. We want to give it a width of, let's see what they have here. So for the first section, let's give it a width of 100%. 100% of width. And we want to place that in the middle. So we're going to say this. So for that first section, we have this guy and all of these cards in the first section. So we're going to quickly say display flex so that we can position them in the middle. I now say justify content center. Let's save and see. So we're going to have an issue, I guess. So this is the issue we're having. Instead of so flex direction, we're going to change that to column. Flex direction, we're going to say column. Exactly. Then we're going to say align items center. So that should put it in the center. Very good. So one other thing we want to do is we want to add margin to the top and bottom. So I would just say margin left and right should be 0. Top and bottom, okay, top and bottom should be around 10% for now. We're going to change it. And the other side should be 0. So 10% is too much. So let's quickly switch that to around 5%. I think this is okay for now. We might want to change it later on. So we have this, but all of the images are kind of like not positioned as they ought to be positioned. So let's quickly look at those images. So those images are in this card and they are in what we call card. So we're going to select card. If you look at all of this image, they are in this container called card. So let's quickly select card. Say dot card. What we're going to say is display flex. So this is what we get, and it's kind of like our images are kind of very big. So this is not exactly what we are looking for. This is not exactly what we are looking for. So let's quickly get what we are looking for. For the card, we're going to give it a width. So it doesn't take the entire screen. Let's give it a width of 90%. Save. So this is 90%. Let's say margin, let's say 0 and auto to place it in the middle. So it's not properly placed in the middle because of some things that we're going to handle right now. So to do that, we're going to select these guys in particular. So let me give them a class name. Let me give them class name. I'm going to give them same class name. So class, what we're going to call this is items. Let's call it items for now. Can change it later on. So we come to this point and we say dot items, and we that a width of. So for 3 items, we want to divide the width. So 100% width. How do we divide that for 3? Let's give each of them 30%. So we have 10 left. So we can see this is 30%. Let's still reduce to around 20%. So this is 20%. I think one of the card is not having that. So all of it is having it, all of them, they're having that. So the next thing we want to do is over here where we have the card, we want to say justify content space between save and see. So space between, that's the case, then let's see if we can get rid of this for now. So this is what space between does for us. No, we need the width. We need the width. Let's say 85% for now. So let's check if we're having an issue here. So this is the card. This is the card. All of these are the items in the card. So class, items, items, and items. It's taking the width off. Okay. So items, let's also talk to the items is taking a width of, let's give it 30%. We also need to talk to the image. So we can select items and then img, that tag, and we're going to give this a width of 100%. Just testing, remember, can also change that. So exactly, that fixed it. Now these images are kind of like not together, they're not of the same size. So let me change the first one. So for the first one, I'm going to change that image to have almost the same size. I'm going to use, let me see, what do I have here? Let me use something almost of the same size. So let me try and, is it this one? Let's see. Okay, let's try that. Let's try this. Or let's try this instead. So right click, copy image link, come over to this point, it's our HTML, and from this to the first one, going to remove that and paste the new one here. So let's see if that works for us. That still didn't work. Let's look for another one. So mind you, we can easily manipulate that and force it to work, but for now we don't have that time, so let's just take it like this. Taking that other image, I'm going to paste this here. I hope this works. Now this is too long. Well, let's give height. Let's give them a height, and I'm going to say max height. So I'm not just going to say height, I'm going to say max height. Max height. Let me say 10% for now. Let's see. Okay, so 10%. We're going to increase it more to around 50%. So 50% seems to be too much for it. Let's reduce it to around 40%. Okay, I think we are good with this. Now coming back to our design that we have here, there's sort of like roundness to this, and there is background color to that. We have white background color like this. So let's come to our estate app. So that means our default background has a different color. Wow. Let's try something. So the card, I'm going to give it a background color. Background color of let's say aquamarine for now. We're going to change that later on. So this is aquamarine. Okay, that's not supposed to be in this place. It's supposed to be in the items. It's supposed to be in the items. So you can see exactly. Now this seems too long. The reason why it's too long is because of the size of the image we use here. Let's change this image again. Let's say we're using same image. Let's use this same image here. Copy image link and come over to this position and remove this. So I guess that should fix that problem. Then now we can remove our max height. Can remove our max height. And then we have something like this. The next thing we want to do is let's look at this design again. Okay, so we want to add some paddings to this, but we're missing one thing, which is the location of the building. So we're going to do that with a p tag. P tag. So on all of them, let's add p tag. So I click on here and I'm holding Alt to click on the next one. Still holding Alt so I can type on the three sides. And I'm going to say Lagos, comma, Nigeria. And let's save and save. So this is what we want. Now we can do other things which you are going to do yourself. For example, but before I let you go, let's quickly add some roundness to this. So to these items, let's say border radius. So we've been using 3 pixels. Let's continue with our 3 pixels thing. I think this is not too noticeable. Let's make it 5 pixel in this case. Okay, I think we can go with this for now. Then your task is to increase the size of this text. This is the entire city of choice, and create a space underneath it so that it's not too close to these guys. Then these items here, they need some breathing space. You're also going to do that and change the color of the price to zero to red. That's what we have here. So that's all for today. I need to take a break now and then we'll continue from where we stop.